welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing with you all my eyeshadow palette collection. This is my full collection. It is a pretty decent sized collection for me, and I'm really excited to be sharing with you all what is in my eyeshadow palette collection. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get on into it. So before we get into this, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the plan for this. I am very much going to go individually one by one with these palettes and show you up close and a little bit personal of the palettes so you can see what they look like inside, and I am just going to give you a little bit about my thoughts on why I like the palettes and why they're in my collection and stuff. So now we'll get on into it. Okay, so first up is my oldest palette. This is literally my oldest palette that I have. This is from Urban Decay, from when the Alice Through the Looking Glass from Disney came out. This was a gift from my Aunt Sabrina for my birthday one year, and she knows how much I love Alice in Wonderland. It's my favorite, fairy tale to watch. So this she got me for that. But this palette is really nice. So it does open up, and when you open this, there's like a pretty blue butterfly. So I really like this palette right here. So this is what it looks like. And then this is the little drawer that pulls out, and then you get the shadows. So, and it just pulls out. So here's what the shadows look like in here, and there's an eyeshadow brush. But you can tell very much what shadow I dipped into the most. I very well, for a long time, was using this color and this color to do like a smoky kind of look for a very long time. So this was quite used a lot frequently. I haven't used it in quite a while. It's more of like a collector piece to me now. So I just don't wear those types of colors anymore on my lids. All those like bright, bold colors. But the packaging of this is so gorgeous. And I love Alice, so I do collect a lot of Alice stuff. So this is part of my little collection. All right, next is this palette. I never shown it in a video or anything, but my mom brought this back to me as a gift when she went to see my Aunt Sabrina in South Carolina. She picked this up at Ulta down there. So this is from NYX. They did a collab with the TV show on Netflix, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and it was part of part 3 of the show. This little book, it's a little spell book, and I love it. I have not used it. This is more, I think, of like a collector piece to me because I love Sabrina. If you're not familiar with the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, it is based on the Archie comics, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So if you haven't grown up with Archie comics, then there is that, because also Riverdale is the same thing. It's inspired by the Archie comics. So I really love this palette because it does have like such a cool little spell looking in here. And then this is what all of these shadows, and then there's like blush and highlight. So this is what they look like. So they're named after there's names after some of the characters and the things that happened in the show. So it is a very colorful palette, but if I did use this, I probably might get some use out of these shimmery colors if I use them on my lid and stuff. But this is mostly like a collector piece for me because I like the show, and it's just a cute little, like, it just looks like a little book, a spell book. So I'm very happy with this, and it's very easy to store. So I'm not too upset about that. I don't really use it much. Okay, so this lovely stack right here, these are all of my ColourPop palettes that I own. So I do have quite a few. Some of them are no longer readable. Some I think are still on the website and stuff. So I'm going to be sharing with you all these ColourPop palettes. This is my favorite eyeshadow formula. So I do buy a lot of ColourPop eyeshadow little palettes. So I very much prefer this, and I can always find shades that I want from them, and I like that they are quite affordable. So that's why my collection is just ColourPop palettes, because they are my favorite eyeshadow formula of choice, because they're very blendable and they have just beautiful shades and stuff, and so I really like them. So these are my little palette stacks I'm going to share with you. Alright, so the first one is their Disney designer collection called Midnight Masquerade. This was a collab with Disney. This was based off a doll collection that came out with Disney that they did called Midnight Masquerade. So this collection was based off of that. And so this is like my most loved little palette right here. And my Aunt Sabrina also got me this too, because she knows how much I love Disney princesses. So look how gorgeous. And then these are the shadows. You can tell like which ones I use the most. This is like my New Year's kind of palette, because I always use like the gold for like New Year's and stuff, but I have used this whole topped row because I love all of the pinkies and neutrals up there. So this is this palette, and I really like it very much. So that is this little palette right here. It's a wonderful, wonderful palette, and I just love collecting their little palettes like this of Disney, because the next one is also Disney. Alright, so this is the other one from Disney. This is the Disney Villains palette. So this was also a gift from my Aunt Sabrina. She gifted me both Disney palettes. I got one, the palette I just showed you was a Christmas gift one year, and this was a birthday gift one year when the Disney Villains Misunderstood collection came out. So, with ColourPop. So, this is a very much more dark palette. I don't wear a whole lot of these colors. I mostly wear the shimmers. In here, you can see which ones I dipped into the most. But I would consider this palette like more of like a fun palette for like maybe the fall time, or it's like fun for like if you were doing like Halloween looks. In all honesty, it's a very dark palette, but I've loved using the shimmers out of it. And I have used the green and stuff for like St. Patrick's Day, and I've used like the black that's in here. So it is a very bright, bold kind of palette, but there's some neutrals in here and some sparkly kind of shimmer looking tone colors that I can use on the lids. But I very much like this, and I do very much love collecting these palettes because they always seem to have pretty good shadow shades in here. So this is this one right here. The next two are from Kathleen Light's collaborations that she did with ColourPop 2 different times. So the first one right here is the first palette that she came out with, and it's called Dream Street. So it is right here. This is her shadow palette right here. It's mostly a neutral tone palette with like some kind of pops of like green and bluish and like orangey colors. I don't wear this palette a whole lot anymore, but you can tell which ones I really dipped into over the time that I have had this palette. But I'm pretty sure this was like my first ColourPop palette right here, the Dream Street, because I think I discovered ColourPop because of Kathleen Light's, to be quite honest. So I do have that, and I had gotten her like liquid lipstick collection and stuff from the Dream Street collection, and I'm very much sure that I have a review of the liquid lipsticks set from the Dream Street collection, so you can see that on my channel. I do have a review of that. This palette right here, this is the Zodiac. I was so excited when the Zodiac collection came out because I love this kind of stuff. I love being a proud Taurus, in case anybody's wondering my sign. So this is what the little palette outside looks like. It's so pretty with all the zodiacs and the dark navy blue with the rose gold pop. And so here are the shades. I would say this is a pretty nice palette to use. There's like pops of like blues and stuff and some little orangey colors. But I've mostly used like the pinky tones and like the more kind of neutrals in this palette. But it is a pretty nice palette. And I think at the time when I bought this, I did get pretty much the whole collection. I think at the time with the original release, I got the like liquid eyeshadows and stuff, and I have the two lipsticks, the two bullet lipsticks. I still have the bullet lipsticks. I did have the highlighters and stuff, and I did have the liquid shadows and stuff, but those were things I wasn't using in my makeup collection as time went by and I had them, so I don't have those anymore, but I still have the palette and the two lipsticks. But it's a really nice collection. And she did bring these out in like loose shadows as well, like loose powder little shadows. So there's that little palette. These are the 9-pan palettes that I have from ColourPop, and I bought all of these at the same time. These were I got these during my birthday last year, so these are all of them. And I think at the time that I got these all off of Ulta's website. These were the Ulta exclusives, the two that I'm going to share with you first. So I have this one called All Things Equinox. It's this pretty kind of purple shade palette. I would call it a more purpley-esque, maybe gray muted, neutral tone palette. It is very wearable on a wearable basis because I do use this color in my crease with other shadows that I have in my collection. But these tones are very muted, so you can very much wear this as a daily palette because it's not a super stark, bright in your face eyeshadow. And I've also used this one, which is like a glittery, but I do like it. I love the soft purple muted tones in this very much. This one is called She Got Solstice. It's a very much more of a green palette. It's a green, and it has like a pop of green, so it's kind of misleading, the outside packaging, but it mostly has like a lot of like neutrally pink tones. There's like some golds and some browns in here. So that's what this little shadow palette looks like. I have used it, as you can tell. But these are nice. I really like them a lot. These two are my most used palettes right here. I'm just gonna be quite honest, from ColourPop. These are my most used and probably my palettes I use on an everyday basis. So first off, we have Nude Mood. I love this palette so much. It's a very neutral base tone palette. So as you can see, I love having shimmers on my eyelid, and then I always go in with like something much lighter in the crease. But I very much love and appreciate using like a neutral tone palette. Like that's what my style is like very neutral base toned these days. So I love wearing this. But I do wear a lot of neutrally blush tone pink colors. So that's why Blush Crush is my absolute favorite palette, and a palette that I use on quite frequently. So here is Blush Crush. As you can tell, I very much love this palette. I'm always using all of these colors over here. Just like really using all of those. It's such a light, blushy, muted pink palette, and I very much get tons of use out of this on a daily basis because of how much light blush baby pink colors I wear, so I would actually like to see maybe a much more lighter blush pink, I think, palette style that has like different shades of a lighter pinks and not so much having a like darker colors. I'd love to see a much lighter pink, I think, palette, I think. Because I really do enjoy those colors and it's something I do wear quite frequently. Like even my matches my nails. Okay, so this palette stack right here is just one thing from like each brand that just really don't have like a super big use or have been used super much in my collection. So these are it. So we're gonna start with this one. This I got in a BoxyCharm. I'm no longer getting BoxyCharms, but this is one of the palettes I kept. So this is called Spanglish from Alamar Cosmetics. So, and they are sold at Target now. So this is what the shadow shades look like right here. They're very sparkly, very nice for like if we were going to a party or something. They're very bold. With a little bit of neutrals, but it is much more of like a sparkly palette. I don't know how much use I will actually get out of this, but I have swatched it once because I was very intrigued by the colors, but I just don't wear bright, bold colors. Like my wardrobe was very neutral based, so I don't know. I'm very torn about this palette. So that's this palette. It is super pretty though. Okay, so this was a BoxyCharm exclusive last year in 2020 with BoxyCharm from Natasha Denona. So this was one of their 5-pan palettes. And I have been really interested in wanting to try the 5-pan palette. So this is in Peak. And I wanted to try their formula from Natasha Denona because I have two on my wish list that I do want from her. I want the Mini Retro and the Mini Glam. So this was nice. Actually, the formula of these was quite nice. These was something I used during the fall because I got the palette during the fall. And it was a very nice fall colors. It has like neutral base tones, something more of like a rusty orange over here, like a rust. But more, I've used like these colors right here. And also this color, not so much this one. But it does make for like a nice neutral, almost pinky-esque neutral tone kind of eyeshadow look, which I really liked. And I liked the palette color was also like this blushy nude pink. So I think the formula of Natasha Denona, the little 5-pan palette, since using this, was quite very nice. So I might at some point maybe want to get Mini Retro and Mini Glam. So this is another palette that I saved from my BoxyCharm, subscription. So I'm not quite thrilled about it. I don't know. This is from Dose of Colors. It's called their Baked Browns. This formula is very powdery, but they do blend very nicely. But I don't know, I just feel like this neutral palette tone is not for me. Like I use Nude Mood more than anything. And the only other neutral palette that I have on my wish list from ColourPop is the Going Coconuts palette that I would really like to add to the collection, my collection as well. But I'm not really thrilled about it. I have some liquid lipsticks from Dose of Colors that I've gotten in like BoxyCharms as well that I do use because they're kind of more, they're just like reds. But I'm just like I don't vibe with this with this palette at all. It's not like a neutral palette that I reach for. I just really like ColourPop palettes. They just like grab my attention and make me want to use them. My last palette right here is from Too Faced. It's the Born This Way, the Natural Nudes, and this was a birthday gift last year in 2020 from my Aunt Sabrina, which I am just like over the moon for, but I haven't used it, and I'm so sorry that I have not used it yet. I want to use it. I like this palette because this was like my rose gold pinky palette. I like this palette. I think the colors in here look absolutely amazing. I just haven't gotten a chance to wear it yet or bothered using it yet because I just think it looks so pretty. I don't know. I'm kind of being a little bit weird, I guess, about it, but they are super pretty. I need to wear them pretty soon because they are quite wonderful. So that is this little palette right here. It's my one that I wanted so much from Too Faced because none of the other Too Faced palettes stood out to me, and only this one did ever, so I will use you very soon, I promise. But if you are looking for something maybe rose gold or pinky tone based, then this might be a good palette for you. And this is my last palette that I'm sharing with you. And with that, that is my collection. I hope you enjoyed. I love all these palettes very much. Some are used, and some have just been collectible pieces. But I very much like this small curated little collection of mine because it is small enough for me. I used to have so many palettes and I decluttered them over the years and stuff like that. So this is everything because it has all of the shadow colors that I like and that I use on very much a daily basis. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all of that. If you like palette collections, give this video a big thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated and helps me out a lot. And until next time, have a beautiful and magical day. I love you all. Bye!